Welcome to Who Knew. We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights into the modern regeneration of the show. Subscribe, review, and listen to us on Apple Podcast and Spotify, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WhoKnewPodcast. All our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com. You can leave comments there or email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram and Twitter account. Tweet at us at whoknewpodcast. Find us on Facebook.
All right, so Eugene here. I'm also here with Brian, and we're going to discuss how we felt about the episode Heaven Sent when it first broadcast on television way back when oh boy. So way back in 2015.
10 years.
Yeah. Weird.
10 years.
Weird.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Time flies when you go linearly.
The long way around, right?
Yeah.
I will start off by saying I was already kind of done with the season and the show because I was over Clara. So to have a whole episode dedicated to grieving her was not something I was looking forward to. But as far as like the artistry of the episode, I can commend it for that. But I just didn't want a whole episode grieving something that I was happy about.
Well, I was in the same position. I was so done with Clara. I didn't like Face the Raven at all. It was like, well, it's your own fault. We've since watched it for the podcast, and I like it much, much more now. But I still wish it was the end. I don't remember knowing what Heaven Sent was going to be about beforehand, but I'm sure if I did, I would have had high expectations, thinking it was a one-man showcase of Peter Capaldi's Doctor.
Yeah, that part I remember liking, but the reason he's there, I really disliked.
Yeah, see, I don't remember it being that he was specifically grieving Clara. It was just he was trapped somewhere weird.
Well, this brings me to because you mentioned Face the Raven, where Clara essentially died in that episode, and the Doctor was powerless to prevent her death.
Yes, and that was the last we ever saw of her.
Right. I wish time stood still.
It did. That was the problem.
Yes, I know. Those of you who are ahead know what I'm talking about. But it reminded me of Mummy on the Orient Express, because to me that was jarring, where we had Kill the Moon and how Clara was upset that the Doctor wouldn't help them make a decision to save the creature or the Earth. Like, and we discussed it that, like, from a human, that's a no-brainer, save the Earth.
You're right.
And he was,
I mean, it's a bit of a brainer, but in the end, it's like, well, it's a tough choice, but I'm gonna make it.
yeah. And their relationship was hurt by that, I guess. And then so I was expecting the next episode to follow Kill the Moon to be something that dealt with that. But then you have Mummy on the Orient Express, just, this is the last hurrah. It's like, if I was that upset at my friend, that would not be the way to do it. So I feel very much the same emotionally with Face the Raven and Heaven Sent, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's a bit.
Again, I'm just
I
remembering.
mean, I agree with you,
feel.
but had they not had him grieving, I think that would have been just as weird.
Because I felt like he did enough grieving in Face the Raven. So to have a whole episode dedicated to more of that, I just wasn't. Again, this is my initial reaction from 10 years ago. Like, that's not what I wanted. And his good acting.
Yeah. But yeah, I've said it before. I didn't like Heaven Sent when I first saw it. I know people just love it. I don't. I didn't. I mean, we'll see.
And to hear people, now that we've started talking with other fans and things, now Heaven
Hmm.
Sent is very highly regarded and toply rated. And I was just thinking to myself, it's fine, but is it one of the best?
I'm wondering what I missed.
I mean,
You
I'm
know,
I'm curious to see what happens when we rewatch it. So
yeah, I mean, I, for an episode like that, I don't think I would have just left it at one and done. So I must have watched it a couple times, maybe three. But that was like right after it aired, and then there's been no urge for me to watch it again. Um,
yeah,
it just, from what I remember, it was like it should have been something more. It felt very, okay, there's a mystery box. Well, there's a mousetrap. And for me it just got the repetitive nature of it bored me. From what I remember. Yeah, we and Frank's the same way. Neither Frank nor I liked it, which was nice because we soon realized that we were in the minority.
yeah. I mean, my initial reaction was negative, but like you said, to find out that other people really love it makes me curious to see what's going to happen when we rewatch it and think like, hey, what did I miss?
I'm hoping. I'll be the first person to go, boy, I was wrong. This is awesome. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe that'll happen because I'm admiring Capaldi's acting more. I've learned through the podcast that if it's not the greatest of episodes, watch his acting.
hmm
So maybe his acting will draw me into this episode. I
And
hope. It's weird to be
normally,
an outlier, isn't it?
uh, no, I'm used to it. Been like that my whole life. Why should that change now?
Oh, that's true. But other people just need to realize that they're wrong.
Well,
You know, I'm right about the first two seasons of Next Generation, first two seasons of Picard, and then Picard season three was awesome, and I'm will admit that.
well, for me, like you bring up Star Trek, I love time loop episodes because like there's just something that if you have the chance to relive something, there's like this character thing that comes out. Like, what would you do? What does it bring out of you? What does
Right.
it prioritize? Like, what does that do? And for this, I don't remember feeling any of that with the Doctor.
No, I mean, like, I love time loop episodes too. You know, Cause and Effect is a great episode, but
Yes.
for me, the balance between doing the same things and realizing that and altering things was perfectly balanced in that episode. It went just long enough of the same things. I mean, I think it was even in their second loop. They were going, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Um, and that, from what I remember, is this is just kind of like the same thing over and over and
Yeah.
over. It's
I
like,
think
oh,
it,
look, he comes out of the thing. He escapes the Dementor. He goes and eats. And it's like, okay, move on.
when we have time loop episodes, normally they learn or they are aware of the time loop much quicker than the Doctor is in this. And I think
Yes.
that I don't remember where I said it, but some episodes I don't like. The Doctor is not the smartest person in the room. This felt like that, even though he's the only person in the room. So
True.
I just, for me, the Doctor would have picked up that this was a time loop faster.
Yeah, there were clues. There were definitely clues.
Or
Um,
I mean, I haven't rewatched it, so maybe I'm thinking it about it incorrectly, but he would have figured out what to do sooner. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. I
Yeah.
I don't remember feeling that. I do remember because not only was I very anti Clara at this point, I was heading deep into my anti Moffat phase, where it
Oh
was
yeah.
like, okay, you're nice to visit, but it's time for you to go. So the whole thing about it, billions of years, what was it 4 billion or something like
Oh,
that?
yes.
It's like,
Something.
why do you keep wanting to screw with the Doctor's age? Why do
Yeah.
you want to make it so that, you know, we can't pin down how old the Doctor is? And also for me, it's like, and also people, he's not 4 billion years old. He kept rebooting.
Yeah.
So, he was there for what, 2 days? So
Yeah,
he's
it's like a
2 days older than he.
was like a pocket universe or something, and time there doesn't equate time here.
Well, but also he lives for 10 days and basically dies at the exact same time, reappears. It's not the same. It's not the same person. I mean, that's at least how I took it, and I probably took it because there's no way I'm going to say the Doctor's 4 billion years old. He's just not. There's just no way. I gave it to him when he did the Matt Smith is 1200 rather than
that was for like a tribute, so that made sense.
Yeah, but it was also a good twist on timey-wimey stuff. Wait a minute, this isn't the same doctor. The doctor that we were hanging out with is 200 years older than this doctor that we're now with. And I don't think that had ever happened before. So that was really clever. But he just kept going and going, And so it was that. So that, to me, that was a very anti-Moffat reaction I had.
Well, again, I'm jumping ahead, sort of spoilery, but if I remember correctly as well, the reason he's put into this time loop is not just for grieving, but for the Time Lords put him there. So he's grieving and it's a trap. So I feel like it should have been one or the other.
Yeah, and see, I hope it makes more sense, but it confused the heck out of me.
Yeah.
When at the end, it's like, hi, I bashed through the diamond wall and, oh, look, I'm on Gallifrey. How?
Exactly.
I was really like, what is going on? Why would they have put him in there? And it just, maybe it is in the episode and I've just, I've either just honestly forgotten it or I repressed it because I didn't like it.
No, those are all possibilities. Entirely possible. But yeah, we're gonna go and watch this episode again with the others on the podcast, but we especially wanted to do this remembering our initial reactions first before diving into it like a proper episode. So
yeah, just because we are so on the opposite end of the spectrum as everybody else. Yeah. And I don't know, just the way things are going on the podcast, I'll probably like it more. I'm seeing it with a different set of eyes. So
yeah.
We'll see.
All right, cool. So that wraps up our initial thoughts from 2015 about Heaven Sent. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and look out for the proper episode of Heaven Sent when the future becomes the present.
You just listened to an episode of Who Knew?
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
Find him on Facebook at The Universe Explodes.
Additional music is by Damiel Paggio.
Additional music by Paul Ohlers.
All our episodes are engineered by Auburn, and you can find him at auburnbinkley.com.
You can also find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast.
Subscribe, review, and
listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Who Knew Podcast.
All our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com.
Visit our Facebook page.
Please leave comments, reviews, and click like to support Who Knew Podcast.
To listen to our show on your Amazon Echo device, subscribe to us on Amazon Music.
And then ask your Amazon device to play your podcast subscriptions.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who,
the longest-running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davies.
Thanks to Russell, Sidney Newman,
Verity Lambert, Ron Grainer,
and all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work continues to inspire and entertain.